Have you ever stopped to think that, many times, what the world considers a loss can actually be the greatest gain of your life? It seems strange, but it is the pure truth. God's logic often contradicts what we see around us. Society tells you that accumulating possessions, status, and material achievements is the only path to happiness. However, when you look with the eyes of faith, you realize that to achieve true fulfillment, you need to be willing to give up some things. And the most surprising thing, what you lose for God ends up returning to you in a multiplied way. And who doesn't want that reward? Letting go of the tireless search for earthly security and putting everything in God's hands seems radical, doesn't it? But think about it. What do you really have to lose? The rich young man in the gospel, for example, went away sad because he couldn't let go of his material ties. And that is what a lack of trust in God does to us. While the world looks at loss with eyes of despair, those who have faith see an opportunity. What may seem like a sacrifice to the world is actually a spiritual investment with eternal rewards. And the question is, are you willing to take this step? When we talk about loss, the common thought is that we are leaving something valuable behind. However, in the spiritual realm, true victory lies in the willingness to lose for God and the gospel. It is an inversion of human logic, where, by giving up what is worldly, we gain something greater, a strengthening of our faith and our hope in something eternal. Trust in God turns losses into opportunities for spiritual growth. Let's imagine the scenario of someone who decides to dedicate part of their day, even if it is short, to prayer and meditation. In the eyes of many, this may seem like a waste of time, but in reality, it is an investment in wisdom and faith. Instead of getting lost in worldly concerns, this person connects with something much greater and deeper. They find the strength to face daily challenges, and this is a wealth that the world cannot understand. It is a choice to lose in order to gain, to trust that what is given up will be multiplied in blessings. This process of detachment can be challenging, but it is necessary. Think about times when letting go of certain friendships or habits brought you greater clarity and inner peace. Sometimes, the willingness to let go, even when it seems difficult, paves the way for new opportunities and a closer relationship with God. And it is at this point that we begin to realize that, although the world may not understand, true wisdom lies in trusting that God has something greater in store for those who walk in faith and hope. When we dedicate our time and energy to spirituality, many may see it as a loss. The world values immediacy, the visible and the material, while spiritual investment is often invisible to human eyes. However, it is in this type of loss that true gain is found. Those who give their time to God, in prayer or acts of faith, are sowing for a harvest that goes far beyond this life. Trust in the divine plan brings rewards not only in the present, but also in eternity. Imagine someone who chooses to set aside an afternoon of leisure to serve in a social work, or even to participate in a prayer meeting. In the eyes of the world, this choice may seem like a renunciation, a sacrifice of something more productive. However, the spiritual growth and inner peace that it generates are riches that surpass any material gain. Spiritual investment is like planting a seed. Over time, this seed grows into fruits of hope, faith, and wisdom that strengthen the soul. Those who see beyond appearances know that every act of dedication to God is a deposit made in eternity. Every moment that seems lost in the present actually paves the way for a blessed future. Spiritual life is like this. While many run after visible achievements, those who invest in faith trust that the greatest gains come from a divine source that never fails. And this is just the beginning of something much greater. The world teaches us to value material possessions as a source of security and happiness. However, the true treasure is not in the things we can touch, but in the spiritual wealth we find in God. Those who place their trust in material possessions, without making God the center of their lives, remain poor in spirit. Excessive attachment to what is material ends up limiting our ability to experience the true freedom and peace that come from complete trust in God. Think of someone who works tirelessly to accumulate wealth, believing that this will bring happiness. However, without God's presence as a priority, the person ends up feeling empty, even surrounded by luxury. True wisdom lies in detaching ourselves from material things and making God our greatest wealth. This does not mean that it is wrong to have possessions, but rather that they should be secondary to our faith. Only in this way will the soul find its true fulfillment. Spiritual freedom begins when we unlearn the concept that having defines being. Those who seek wealth first in God will find that everything else falls into place in their lives. God offers us wealth that does not deteriorate and is not fleeting. And this is the key to a life of hope and confidence. By letting go of attachment to fleeting things, we begin to make room for the spiritual abundance that truly matters. In a world where distractions abound and desires seem endless, the order of priorities is fundamental. Seeking first the kingdom of God and His righteousness is a principle that reorganizes our entire life. When we place God at the center of our choices and decisions, everything else falls into place naturally. Unfortunately, many try to reverse this order, seeking first pleasures and earthly achievements in the hope that God will fall into place later. But true peace and wisdom only come when He takes first place. A clear example is the way we deal with time. We often say that we are too busy to pray or engage in spiritual activities. However, when God is a priority, we find time, and everything else falls into place. It is like a diary. If you put the most important thing first, the rest falls into place. Those who put faith first live with the confidence that the other areas of their lives will be blessed and organized. When things seem disorganized, it is a sign that our priorities are misaligned. The pursuit of the kingdom of God is not a secondary pursuit. It is the foundation upon which all other achievements must be built. And when this foundation is solid, blessings flow naturally, both in the present and in the future. Wisdom lies in understanding that material goods are, in fact, temporary resources entrusted to us by God. We are not owners, but stewards, and it is up to us to use them responsibly and fairly. Those who understand this truth see possessions as a tool to bless others, and not as a source of attachment or vanity. When the focus is on pleasing God, material goods begin to have a greater purpose, ceasing to be merely an end in themselves. Imagine someone who uses their wealth to invest in social projects, helping communities in need. This is a practical example of a healthy relationship with material things. The act of giving, of blessing the lives of others, transforms something temporary into an eternal legacy. Those who do this live wisely, recognizing that the resources they have are an opportunity to expand God's love for the world. Money, when well managed, can be a powerful tool in the hands of those who place faith above all else. It is not wrong to have possessions, but it is essential to know that they should not own you. When God is the center of our lives, we can manage all that we have with balance and wisdom, using our resources in a way that reflects our trust in Him. Thus, what we receive becomes more than just something material. It becomes an expression of our faith and hope in God. Spiritual liberation is crucial for those who desire a life full of faith and trust in God. Many people live imprisoned, not by physical chains, but by attachments, fears, and worries that block true spiritual growth. Wisdom lies in recognizing these invisible prisons and, with faith, seeking liberation through the Word of God. When freed from these bonds, the heart opens to the true peace and hope that only God can offer. Imagine a person who lives worried about finances, always afraid of losing what they have. This fear prevents them from seeing beyond the material and from trusting God completely. However, when they decide to hand over this burden to the Lord, something powerful happens. They are freed from anxiety, and their trust begins to rest in God's promises. This spiritual transformation is what makes a new way of living possible, with less fear and more faith, knowing that God will take care of everything. Spiritual liberation is not something that happens all at once, but an ongoing process of detachment and surrender. Along this journey, a person leaves behind concerns about what is earthly and focuses on what is eternal. As a result, life takes on new meaning and spiritual blessings begin to flow abundantly, revealing that, with God, all things are possible. Have you ever thought about what might be holding you back from achieving a life of true trust in God? Are you ready to let go of what the world values and invest in your spirituality? These are questions that require a practical answer. What will change in your life after everything you have learned here? Maybe it is time to start letting go of certain things and reorganizing your priorities. How about taking the first step? Challenge yourself to put God first, to seek a lighter life based on faith and hope that only He can provide. And remember, when you lose something for God, you are actually gaining 100 times more. If this content helped you see the world differently, I invite you to continue on this journey of spiritual growth. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new content that can transform your life even more. Don't miss the opportunity to continue learning about how true wealth lies in trusting God completely.